And welcome back to Praggers Gaming. I'm Gamer Praggers and this is Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. In the last episode we made a bit of a hash of the contract to go and get the data core from the Solheim ship to allow us to get the fuel lines from Karsten, but which we can't do, and we don't have the cryo to do it. But Junie gave us a potential way around, and that is to steal them from him. And seeing as that's the only route we have available to us, that's what we're going to do. So pop our dice in. There we go. The sound of a fist on keyboard awakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie, a rare half-smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with glittering excitement. Got him. She shoots you a look. Karsten's whole system is mine. You push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the map protocol now. I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Is there much to a map? She squints at the screen. Weirdly, there is. It's coming up now. Seems Karsten is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security. She frowns. What are all these layers of... A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her features as it does. Shit, shit, shit! Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is closing the port. We need... Another red flash and her screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again, harder. We've been kicked out. She is rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager's shop should have that kind of countermeasure. She looks troubled. Maybe you peeked in the wrong corner? She looks over at you. It seems so. I think our friend Karsten is involved in some nasty stuff. She rubs her forehead in thought. Wait. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering with commands. A complex node graph assembles on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. The mapping protocol did enough. She points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicates a dark section of broken connections. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive. Nothing we want. I wonder what's there. Junie shrugs. Some big data trawls? It looks like. Copies of old drives he found. Could just be a load of data left over from the salvage jobs that he thinks is worth something. She smiles. He's a meathead with no eye for data, so it's probably a load of debug logs he thinks are Solheim secrets. She giggles at the idea. Junie pulls a thumb drive out of one of her many pockets and slots it into her deck. Time to train my cat. Identify the program. Hey. You watch the code spilling across the screen and notice the address from the node map being marked and logged. As you watch, you see that the cat identifies weaknesses, marks nodes with multiple connections and fragile structures. It is making a plan of attack. Junie is going to blast Karsten's network apart with raw data. Junie sees the look of recognition in your eyes. And I thought I could show you something new. She looks impressed. I call it a Katzenjammer. Cat for short. Give it the map of a network and any entry port, and it'll flood the system with raw data and network noise. Any tech connected to it gets a killer headache. I built it to take the remnants of Solheim security systems out of commission on old derelicts. She squints. I had one too many close calls. What will it do to Karsten's shop? Pretty much fry anything on our map. Cameras, shutter controls, alarms. It'll be pure chaos. She plucks the thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over. The cat head sticker on it, catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. We've still lost access, of course. Junie turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map. But there's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Karsten's. Slot the cat in there, and he should be able to find a back door. How can you be sure? I spotted it on the map. She brings it up in another window. Karsten's hooked up to the old fixed network. It's a classic weakness. This isn't going to be quiet, she squints. His whole system is going to get data blasted. It's not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the feed lines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk. Seraphine's voice catches you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit.
Well,
Junie pauses, looking between the two of you.
it's our best option.
Seraphine narrows his eyes. And where will you be while we run the gauntlet of scrambled security and making the grab? Junie looks away.
I can monitor how it goes down remotely, from here, or the ship.
Seraphine gives you a look. You can tell he is finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. I trust you, Junie. She smiles a thin smile.
Thanks.
She starts to pack up her deck.
But I'll find somewhere else to work from. Close to the ship, but out of your way.
Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door.
When you're ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you're back at the ship, I'll be there.
She glances down.
Don't leave without me.
She shoots Seraphine another look and then slips out of the unit. Seraphine watches her go, then turns to you. The whole of Hexport is going to hear about this. He shakes his head. We'd better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing. This is what we have to do. Seems like it. He looks away. I'll be at the ship preparing the engine. We need to be ready to fit the lines as fast as we possibly can. He meets your eye. Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything. He puts a hand on your shoulder, and don't even think about looking back. With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider what comes next. Okay, so I think we're going to need... Right, let's get supplies. Supplies and fuel. Because it looks like we are out of here after this. Okay. And go. Carston's place is locked up for the cycle, shutter down, alarms on, and the denizens of Factory Row snaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shop and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat sticker, sticking out of the old Solheim access port. You imagine the flow of data as the Katzenjammer seeks for an entry point into Carston's system. You think of Junie tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphine deep in the engine room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it, a pulsating white noise, spluttering and then screaming out of Carston's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, the lights pulse, the alarm gurgles in confusion. For a moment, you are stunned into stillness. People stop in the street and turn to look, as the shutter's motors burn out in a cascade of sparks and acrid smoke, now or never. I can't remember what we're good at. I need to make sure I take a screenshot so I've got an idea of what skills we've got. Let's intuit. Neutral. You skirt around the people watching, using them as a perimeter. They are pointing and talking, some of them laughing while others look concerned. You confidently push past them and glide inside without looking back. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shop. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise and the flickering lights make it hard to concentrate, but you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms. They wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out into the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through a gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The feed lines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphine better be ready. Your arms ache from clutching the feed lines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Sleeper! You almost ignore the call until you realise you recognise the voice. Oh.
Sleeper?
Junie glides out to meet you, her hand on your shoulder, guiding you towards the bridge.
I'm with you now.
She shoots you a glance.
What a show, huh?
She laughs nervously. It was certainly loud. She smiles a little.
Wish I could have seen the cat in action.
You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in Factory Row has not yet reached the port. You feel a flush of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focused, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn in the central passage of the ship and make your way to the engine room, the feed lines now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphim is waiting for you, shaking his head. Looks like we're in business. He lets out a sigh. And on the run from 2 different people now. He grabs the feed lines. I'll take it from here. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. How about you make yourself useful rather than just making me nervous? Seraphim says without looking up for his work. Go close the airlock and disconnect the bridge. You and Junie glance at each other, both of you. Now, Seraphim calls out. The 2 of you turn and make your way up the passage, your nerves settling now. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Carsten coming up the docking bridge fast. You're shaking hands, input the closure sequence just in time. The door hisses and slams shut in Carsten's face. He glares at you through the airlock's window, but as he does, the docking bridge's shutters scissor closed, blocking him from view. You hear a clunk as the clamps disengage. You are free. Seraphim rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourself strapped in. You and Junie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphim punches in the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport. Seraphim hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. You completed a drive and earned an upgrade point. You have push upgrades available. Go to the character screen. What the? Seraphim's quiet question interrupts your thoughts as the rig cuts across the belt. Hexport is now behind you, drifting out of visual range. Its glinting lights now just part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it has surely been left behind. Which is why Seraphim's muttering is worrying you. More trouble? Seraphim turns. There's a transmission coming out of Hexport, some kind of evac order. He turns back to his console. Let me check this. Sleeper! The voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through you. Lane. I know you're there. A hissing pause. Is that coming from Hexport? Seraphim glances at you confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Give me a second here, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulder nervously. They're warning people to alter their course away from the station. You are slipping away. A squawk of noise, but we can't have that. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care extended upon you, this is how you repay me. At least we're heading away, Seraphim interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there. Lane continues. Could that be you? Sleeper? You hear Seraphim calling you, but you don't move, you don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphim. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphim. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphim through you. A tension flickers in his eyes. Fear? A hissing silence, then a rumbling blast. All at once, the rig screams, system seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once, the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. Pain, then darkness. Oh. Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what's being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You are floating in, so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realise this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself in your chest. You are awake. You open your eyes to light playing across the surface patterned with stained cushioning. You are alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, the distant clank of maintenance systems. You are alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember. An overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid, animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and worn, your mind racing. Where is this? You glance around, taking in the small room with its knickknacks, tucked behind webbing, its stained and worn storage units, its faded padding. This is someone's home. Cold light filled the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails, and skeletal dog-egg bridges. This is the station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. Hey! The entering figure jumps as they see you are awake. You're up! They hesitate in the doorway. Who are you? They laugh nervously. Right? We didn't meet. They glance back out of the doorway as if looking for help. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure of what to add. Your crew are out, sorry. They brought you here. Here? Right. They nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know. We're in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know what that is. In the bell? Yeah. They smile sympathetically. In the bell. They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You are safe, don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who was either born in zero-G or has spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched, thick acrylic windows look out into a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the centre of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. Is she okay? She'll be fine. She will be when I'm done with her. Bliss sees you staring at the rig. Took some damage, but she's a hardy old thing. Your ship. Your ship? Bliss pauses. You were lucky. I heard your distress signal. You sense they are holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laugh to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there, and have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphine's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Don't start fussing over me, sleeper. I'm good. Your eyes fall to Seraphine's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Certainly looks better than when you came in. You should have seen... Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphine glares in their direction. Here. Seraphine pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. Working in your condition? Seraphine sighs. Please, I'm fine. Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphine nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down to the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphine, both of you unsure what to say. Where's Junie? She's probably on the ship, working on that deck of hers. Seraphine looks out the ship. She's been useful. Not sure we would have got that distress signal out without her. What do you remember? He looks at you with concern. Lane. Seraphine grimaces at the mention of his name. Lane? He shakes his head. Seraphine looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Hexport is... He clears his throat. It's gone. He flinches. What do you mean, gone? It's gone. Seraphine catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals, apart from one sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you've just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row, Carston, gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw Sleeper. Something exploded, white hot. He rubs his arm, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose, and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like being trapped in an auto wash. He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed into pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Could it be to do with us? Seraphim shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine. He squats. Would Lane do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Utsubo is a gang. They run Darkside. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. You both float in silence for a moment. What now? Seraphim laughs weakly. One step at a time. You in a rush? We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work, fuel, supplies, and we need to make sure you are okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport, or what's left of it. He looks away. The fast spindle is way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here run differently to Darkside, so for now, we have some freedom. Seraphim sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. Patch on the shoulder. I want to explore this place. The fast spindle. There's plenty to see. This is a free station. No one faction holds control, so it's quite the circus. Just watch your step out there. Seraphim pauses and stares down. Look, sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds, I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you are going to need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lip. I'm sorry. Don't be. Thanks, sleeper. He turns away. I'm going to go take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look out at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped out Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Could it have been Conway? A drone or mine drifting starward? Senate Stat perhaps, with some plan to weaken the belt? Or a belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake? The belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner system, but now, Hexport's loss will be felt all across the Starward belt. But what does that mean to you? Your needs are much more immediate, apparent. Those must come first. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. You've gained some glitch. Glitch is a penalty you gain from repairing dice, and from Lane's attempts to hack your system. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock to the right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitch dice at the start of the cycle. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear one level of glitch. A glitched dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used, and a 20% chance of a positive outcome. Okay, glitch clock. A glitch dice looks like this. Okay. So we've got 2 glitch dice. Fair enough. You find Junie in the airlock, a small collection of things crammed into her bag.
I was coming to see you, I promise.
She looks nervous.
I was waiting for you to wake up, but Seraphim said you were okay. So...
Sure you weren't sneaking off? She looks away.
I don't like big goodbyes, that's all.
While you were out, she pauses, the concern for you obvious.
I was doing some digging. It seems that core, the Solheim one, isn't the only one out there. I'm going to keep looking for another one. I'm not giving up.
She takes a breath.
But I'm going alone.
We can help.
No, look.
She takes a sharp breath.
After what happened with the rig, Bliss saving us, we are all lucky to be alive.
She shifts her bag on her shoulder.
I think I'm better off alone, for now. Good luck, Sleeper, and tell Seraphine goodbye for me.
What are you chasing? She freezes, caught off guard by your question. She pauses.
I know there's value, true value in that data, Sleeper. I know it, and
She pauses again, unsure of herself.
I have a project to continue, one I won't abandon. Maybe I can tell you about it another time.
She smiles weakly, closing up again.
Well,
she rubs the back of her neck.
See you around.
You watch her drift away down the docking tunnel and into the fast spindle, with questions still bouncing around your head. Maybe if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered. Okay. So, we've got Spindle Core, Pinnacle Docks. There's a big old ship there. Spindle Core, we've got Bliss's Bay and the rig. Oh, what's going on there? Is that a brief respite? Hexport's demise has put a barrier between Darkside and the fast spindle. Lane can't follow, so for now, you're safe. Okay. And we've got, what's this? Skill required help residents. Right, one thing I do want to do, so yeah, the underhang. One thing I do want to do is, in the bunks, reduce stress when not on a contract. But I don't think that repairs dice. Guide. Stress and dice health. Dice will break, must be repaired. On the safe difficulty broken. Worth one, they can't be used. When at a hub, you can repair dice at the rig workshop location, once unlocked. Okay. Okay, so I don't have it yet. Okay. So what can we do in Bliss's Bay? Repairing the rig. So we've got 4 cycles. And what's that? 6 cycles. Okay. Spindle Core, what can we do here? Chat to the crews, which has a danger attached to it, or explore the core. Okay. And the Pinnacle Docks. Interface which we get a plus on. If we put that... Oh, that doesn't count. Okay. Do you know what? I'm gonna risk it. Hey, nice! Whatever happens, happens. Get a positive outcome with a glitched dice. Nice. Okay, so we don't get a bonus on that one. So we will... Let's pop... Yeah. Oh, new location. The fast spindle. As you glide through the Pinnacle Docks, you hear shouting echoing down a corridor. You tentatively change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Your eyes are drawn to the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being splattered with glittering shards of ice. In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen. Spacers! Workers for the fast spindle! We need your urgent assistance! The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transit from Wellspring. He takes a breath. All able hands, we need your help to secure the cargo. Without this water, fast spindle will struggle to support you. He looks desperately at the crowd. Please, anyone who are able to help, please make yourself known. Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pure halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spacers push through the crowd towards the front, and dock workers start to direct them to nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant in the face of making someone else's problem your own. Okay. The signal station. Go on. We'll risk it for a biscuit. Oh! It worked. Blimey. But so that gave us cryo. Okay. Right, so what can we do here? So we can't endure, but we can reroute the flow, which we will. Okay. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So that would put us on a 2. Okay. Spindle core. That would just be a 1. The underhang. Engineer. We can't do anything with engineer, but we can wander. Ah, interesting. Okay. Right. The galley. We don't need a meal. We're okay on supplies. So I think what we'll do is, because that's all full, we'll just get Seraphim for odd jobs. We don't have any dice, so we can't do that. Excuse me. We are going to end the cycle. And we have 1 glitched dice. Oh, I see. I mean, that's for reducing stress, which we don't have. Okay. So, so yeah, we need to help out up here. So we'll pop some dice in. We shouldn't really. I need to end the episode. Okay. Hopefully we should be able to save Springtide in the next cycle. But we will... Come on. Okay. Pinnacle Explorer. Okay. It's given us the Beltborn Venture, and there's a cryo side on there. So I think that means we can sell. We can do a shift. Okay. But that is all we've got time for. We do need money. Oh, we've got 3 upgrade points as well. Interesting. We need 4 to upgrade a skill. But no dice roll damage on push roll, reroll +1 dice. Interesting. But we will think about that in the next episode. Thank you for hanging out. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, ticking the bell so you know when new videos go live. In the description is a link to the channel Discord. Feel free to come and talk about the games you're playing, the games I'm playing, games in general. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!